Tell me, darling, could we run away? We could hide away by the cactus desert blue. I can see it just a mile away from this crowded place. I could lay there next to you.
Hey friends, welcome back to our channel, Best Freaking Friends Forever. Thank you guys for tuning in and joining us. So we're going to talk about the second Star Wars that we did this week, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. So we're box office stuff. The budget was $18 million. The opening weekend it made $5 million, which today with inflation is $16 million. It grossed in the U.S. $293 million, which is $942 million with inflation. And the cumulative worldwide gross was $538 million, which is $1.7 billion with today's inflation. We found a little thing for what's your Star Wars name. So mine...
I'm sure there's millions of them out there.
Oh, yeah. So you take the first letter of your first name, and then you take the month you were born. And so mine, and we'll put it up for you guys, mine is, let's see, Obi-Wan Akbar would be my Star Wars name.
Yep. I got Chewbacca. So I am Chewbacca the Hutt.
My favorite scene, I told you what my favorite scene is. My favorite scene is when Han Solo is about to be frozen, and Leia says, "I love you," and he says, "I know." Mm-hmm. But that was not originally in the script because they weren't sure whether Harrison Ford was coming back. And originally he was supposed to say, "Just remember that, Leia, because I'll be back." Like that was what he was originally supposed to say. But at the time of filming, Harrison wasn't entirely certain that he did want to come back for a third movie. And there's a recurring legend that his line, "I know," was ad-libbed. However, Alan Arnold's book, Once Upon a Galaxy, A Journal of Making of The Empire Strikes Back, it includes a transcription of the discussion between Ford and director Irvin Kershner, in which Ford suggests the line. No, I think that's one thing I do like about all these movies is that the fight scenes, I mean, they're pretty cool, I think. Even from, I mean, in this time frame when they were made, I mean, they're pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you feel bad for all the fighter or like the pilots that are like basically crashing and burning, but and I thought it was interesting how was it the first one where Darth Vader's basically following them and he like gets rolled out? Yeah, I thought that was interesting that he actually took it upon himself to come out and chase too. And he wasn't in the background. And this one, I mean, I like all the fight scenes too. Yeah. I think they get longer as each movie goes on, and I think that I'm kind of like, okay, you could have shortened this by but other than that, they're cool. They're just a little long, or they get longer as time goes on.
Well, the AT-ATs are pretty cool because you have these little spaceships, flying fighter ships, whatever you want to call them, flying around and taking out these huge AT-ATs. And Luke gets a smart idea to use the cable to trip them. Well, the one time even Luke, I think that probably is my favorite because the one time Luke is able to shimmy his way up to the one and throw a bomb in it, blow it up from the inside. Vader wants him, and well, he destroyed his Death Star, so of course he wants him. But
they turn him.
Well, yeah, that too, because then the Empire will have even more power because they know how strong the Force is with Luke. But Luke gets stuck out in the snow. And
temperatures, yep.
And Han comes out to get him. Well, that's another thing is Han and Leia. He wants her to admit, "You like me." Like, he wants her to admit it. And he gets so frustrated with her. And I'm like, you could admit it too, buddy. Like, I'm sure she's waiting on you to say it.
Yeah. They're just very stubborn, both of them.
Yeah. But he does go out because he's leaving. He's like, "I'm gonna go," but then he's like, "Oh my gosh, Luke's not back." And he's like,
no one wanted to go look for him.
No, he was the only one that seemed concerned. Well, at this point, Luke is called commander. He commands the fleet. So I don't know why they don't want to go find him. Well, whatever. So yeah, Han goes out, but where they cut, I can't ever remember that animal's name, but they cut the animal open and he shoves Luke in there.
And that they do that I think it's a Native American thing where, yeah.
If you need to, it is a survival
technique. Yeah, to keep him warm.
He still hasn't had all of his Jedi training yet. Obi-Wan was only able to teach him so much before he was gone, before Vader killed him. But even in the first one, we get to see that Obi-Wan can communicate with Luke. And so he tells him when he's in that cave that he needs to go to the Dagobah system and seek out Yoda to finish his training.
And he does.
Yeah. So yeah, after he leaves Hoth, he goes and finds Yoda, which he does find Yoda, but he doesn't know it right away.
No, because Yoda's crazy at first. Or like he seems like he's like an old, like you would think a crazy old man. Or you know what I mean? Like that's what you would think. And then Yoda, I thought like when I watched it, because this was the first time for me watching it, and I watched how he switched like that, I feel like.
Yes.
To where he was like and then it was like, oh. Like, and then he was like calm and he was like talking coherently or whatever.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, that was really like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember thinking that was very quick how it happened.
Right.
And I forget what made him switch, or I forget what, because Luke said something.
He wasn't being patient.
Yeah.
He was in a hurry, and Yoda told Obi-Wan, he's like, I can't train him. He has no patience.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And he got all serious.
Oh, yeah. He wants to, so it's a trap again. Like Shelley said, she was right. There's another trap, and Vader is able to use Boba Fett and use Lando to trap Han and Leia.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has both of them. And Luke leaves
his training.
Yeah. Because he sees them in pain. And Yoda doesn't want him to go. He says he needs to stay for his training, and Luke's like, no, I need to help them. So he leaves to go and save them, and it is a trap because they want to capture him. That's why they put Han in carbonite first, because they want to freeze Luke, essentially.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett is not happy with that because he's going to lose his bounty. And then Jabba's not going to get his money because Han's gone. Yeah. But it ends up working. Han survives it. And Luke and Darth Vader have their first real, they kind of have their first real, like, battle with the lightsabers, don't they?
Yeah, because he never really encounters Vader until this one. In the first one, they're only fighting on the ships together on the Death Star.
Right.
They never really encounter each other. Yeah. Well, and, like, they didn't, like, Han kind of trusted Lando, and Leia was just like, absolutely not. She wouldn't even let him fix the droid because C-3PO kind of gets dismantled, and Chewie is there to save the day, as always. Leia senses something is up. She herself has not even learned that she has a sense to the Force, and she fights her gut feeling a lot. But we get to see her grow too, and kind of start understanding the Force better. But yeah, you can tell that she's just like, no, something's not right, and she just can't quite put her finger on it, which of course Lando does betray them, but he kept telling them, I had no choice. And so he was trying, but he did ultimately get them out of there.
Well, yeah, because the deal was that he would hand over, and Han Solo and Leia would get to stay there and be safe.
Yes.
And of course, Darth Vader goes back on his word, and he's like, you should be happy that this is all I'm doing, basically. You know what I mean? Because he basically tells him, you've gone back on your word. That wasn't the deal. I mean, Lando was put in a bad position, and Han does kind of tell him, I thought you were my friend or whatever.
Well, and then, so yeah, Luke is stuck behind, and kind of in a way at first. Well, they do freeze Han. He gets frozen. Well, Shelley talked about that. And then we do get to see Vader and Luke fighting. And that's where the big shocker scene happens.
Yeah, the big reveal, so to speak. Yeah.
Rocked people's world. Jeremy, our friend Jeremy, he said he was in theater, because Tony and I talked about this last night. It would be so cool to be able to go back and watch these and not know anything that's going on. and being able to see and hear it all for the first time, because Jeremy got to be in theater when he like first saw this, and like when it was revealed that Vader was Luke's father, and Jeremy said it was just really cool to be in the theater and get to experience that. Yeah. So if you got to experience that, please let us know. Tell us your story. Yeah.
Well, and then Leia, I think Princess Leia comes into her own a little bit too, because at the end, Luke is hanging on to, he goes down the chute.
Yes.
And he's hanging on, and he telepathically calls for help to Leia, and Leia senses him.
Well, she just, right. Well, for her, it was just like, we need to go back. Like, there was just something telling her, like, we need to go back. We, as the audience, I think we hear Luke talking, but she's still trying to figure it out. I feel like she's still trying, because we don't get to see where the revelation comes to her in the third one, I think. But yeah, Luke gets his hand cut off. Vader cuts his hand off.
Yep.
But they're able to restore that. They have the technology to give him a new hand.
Yep. Well, I guess there's 3 clues in this movie that they are siblings. On Hoth, Leia looks lost in thought when the doors of the hidden rebel base close on Hoth, implying she is thinking of Luke. Yoda saying to Kenobi, there is another, after the latter claims that Luke Skywalker was their last hope, which turns out to be Leia, as revealed in Return of the Jedi, and Leia sensing Luke's presence, presumably through the Force in Bespin. Leia even claims to Luke in Return of the Jedi she has always known she was his sister.
Well, and like, so Vader says in the first one, he said that he felt the Force in a way that he hadn't felt. He started to say, so in the first one, he starts to kind of imply that Luke is his son, because he's like, I haven't felt this since, and then he kind of just stops what he's saying. And what I think he's trying to say is, I haven't felt this since I was with Padme. And so, which none of us know any of the, like, when this comes out, nobody knows any of that story. Nobody knows who Vader was with before. Nobody knows he has children. Like, we don't find any of that out until episodes 1, 2, and 3 come out. But anyway, so yeah. Well, and I think there's a part of Luke that knows it, because once Vader says, you are, I'm your father, Luke is like not having it, which, why would you? You wouldn't want to know that he is the downfall of the democracy, and then to find out that your dad created this empire, like helped create it. And yeah, it would just be, yeah. Well, and he probably, not only that, but he feels lied to.
Well, yeah, because think about, because he's always been told that his father's dead.
Yeah,
I think,
well, yeah,
right? Yeah.
Which in a sense he is.
To him, yeah. Yeah.
Because Obi-Wan explains that, which that's in the third one as well, I think, with Obi-Wan explaining the whole death of his father. With the expectation of being stuck out of a Cloud City window, Mark Hamill did all of his own stunts.
That's pretty cool.
Carrie Fisher stood on a box for many of her scenes with Harrison Ford in order to make up for the height difference and have her appear in the frame with him. Carrie Fisher is 5'1", was almost a foot shorter than Harrison Ford, who's 6. Hey, if you want, I can share that video, or not that video. I can share that photo of us yesterday and showing our height difference, how much taller I am than you.
Well, I'm only 5'2", so I would look the same way that she did with him.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, we'll show you a photo Shelley and I we took yesterday where I'm Han and she's Leia, comparatively. Yep. I don't know. I think there's advantages to being tall and there's advantages to being short, though. I think.
Yeah, I've dealt with it so long. And all my siblings are taller, even my younger sister. So, my brothers are every bit 6 foot.
Yeah.
Carrie, my sister is 5'7", 5'6", 5'7", I think 5'6".
I think she's
My older sister's pretty much almost the same height. She may be 5'4".
Yeah. Are you Carrie Fisher's height?
I'm 5'2", so I'm 5'2".
So you're just a touch taller than her.
Yeah, just a touch.
Yeah. So yeah, Shelley is our Leia. Yep. Because I'm not 6 foot. I'm almost there though.
Well, you're 5'7", aren't you?
I'm 5'8" on a good day. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. Like I went to the doctor, and you do. I think it's in the morning. You're taller in the morning than you are in the evening.
Because you've had gravity all day.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, because like in our our profile picture for all of our social media stuff, we look the same height.
Not.
No, I'm a lot taller than Shelley. Yeah, and then like Tony's taller than you because he's taller than Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tony's 6'4".
I am Tony's armrest. Tony, like his. Okay, so I come up to Tony's where he can just go like this and put his arm on me.
Probably like his
nipples. Like he can put his arm on my head and I can be an armrest for him. That's how much taller he is than me. And the guy that plays Chewbacca,
yeah,
obviously he was pretty tall. I think he pretty much got that role just because of his height.
So this ends with Luke getting his arm fixed. Han is now frozen. Boba Fett has Han. Lando has the Falcon. I forgot about that. Lando has the Falcon.
That's the big one. And the third one that we're going to talk about, that's the only time Han's really not the captain of it, or not the captain. The pilot of it is in the third one when Lando is.
It just pans out from seeing Luke and Leia and the droids. That was episode 5. Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Mm-hmm. Let us know. What did you think? I want to know what you thought of Darth Vader being Luke's father when the first time you saw it. If you didn't know before, of course, everybody. I mean, it's so iconic. That whole line is iconic. I am your father. I am Tiffany. This is my BFFF Shelley. Join us next time, friends, for another great episode.